Picture this. Your town's on the brink of apocalypse. You and your group of friends are all it has left to bring justice and peace. There's this guy who shows up and alters the course of life as you know it. Well, what if we told you this is what's happening in Riverdale's latest episodes? Stick around to find out more about the crazy scheme involving library books for some reason in Riverdale. First up, Ex Libris. In Riverdale, you've gotta just go with a lot of things happening in the show. For starters, season 6 kicked off with a paranormal twist. If you've seen it, you've probably been surprised too, because what is going on with the alternate universe plot? For a show that started out as a teen drama, there's been loads of twists and turns along the way. What happened to the epic highs and lows of football? The latest episode of season 6 is no different, let's say that. Starting off with a Latin title like Ex Libris just tells you there's something wacky and mystical happening. Just to get you up to speed, there's Percival Pickens. He's a major vibe killer for the town and Archie's group, to put it mildly. This season sees him doing all sorts of elaborate schemes that try to one-up the council and Archie himself. He literally mind controls K.O. Kelly to walk into oncoming traffic so he can take his spot in the boxing match against Archie. If you ask us, that's freaky. Throughout the season, you've probably been wondering to yourself, what is his deal? He seems like your average businessman in a suit, but he has powers? What? Anyway, we see more of his conniving plans in Ex Libris. He's about to close the library, but before that, Percival pesters Archie's group to return their books. And yeah, as teenagers, we've all got a lot of serious overdue library books. Maybe we've even lost some, and hadn't had the chance to get to return them. Well, that's the situation here, and when we say pester, we mean full-on nagging. Yikes. Next, we have figuring out Percival's motives. Archie's trying to understand all this. Think about it. Why would some suit with supernatural powers be on your tail to return library books? It makes sense if the librarian would ask you. But no, here Percival is, with his mind-bending tricks. Our very own Jughead hits the nail on the head, though. Libraries are troves of knowledge, right? Books promote self-reflection and independent thought, and that's exactly what Percival wants to erase from Riverdale, to control them completely and create a new utopia. Whatever his definition of utopia is, that's definitely not it. But wait, none of the gang really reads except for Reggie, and that's something Percival picks up on too, the cheeky guy. And now Percival goes all out. Of course, chaos ensues. Riverdale really drives home the point of returning your library books. If the gang had done that, they wouldn't be in this mess. As for the mess, well, Percival uses these books as totems, you can say. Since he's a supernatural being, he can cast spells too. Remember mind control? Yeah, he's the whole package. He uses these books as items to cast spells on the gang to reignite their past traumas and hidden memories. Jughead's eczema gets really out of hand, but that might be the tamest thing in this episode. Betty starts to remember her serial killer father. Yeah, that's a big one. The episode really gives it to you straight and unfiltered, which is pretty effective. Seeing Archie recall his relationship with Miss Grundy can be triggering for many people, because it touches on ideas like grooming and abuse. Reggie's the slow one, and he decides to try to learn Percival's tricks and magic. Of course, this all begins with Percival's plan to demolish the public library to make way for his new hotel. He already built a new railroad, man. If he really will make a hotel and have guests stay in it, we don't know. There has to be a more evil motive behind that too. But hey, we know as much as you guys do. This show has been on enough roller coasters, we're sure nobody knows what's next. So what's the deal with Percival? Alright Riverdale, you're very well established. We should take public libraries more seriously. For real though, the demolishment of heritage sites and places of knowledge is a real life issue, and the people need to speak up about it. But the way that Archie and Betty's lives have been upended, it's quite a scary plot device. There are powers beyond our measure that we need to prevent, and Riverdale makes that crystal clear. Fans have noticed one thing. It's probably on your mind too. Percival's been wreaking havoc all season, and it's becoming a bit tired according to fans on Twitter. We've already seen the billionaire CEO evil mastermind Haram come and go, and Percival seems to be coming close. Some even think that Percival's turning into Haram 2.0, which is just repetitive, honestly. Let's talk about the implications of this all. Riverdale has acknowledged a previous questionable storyline though, because Percival rehashes his memories. Archie realizes his relationship with Miss Grundy was very problematic. This is a callback to the first season where their fling was played off by the show, and many people were pissed, which is totally understandable. They've finally acknowledged this and frame it as a genuinely concerning situation. Archie's a victim, and he's haunted by what Miss Grundy and he had. We're glad Betty was there to remind him his teacher was actually grooming him. It had to be done, and well, 5 seasons later, here it is. All that being said, fans still think this was addressed fleetingly, and it should have been given more thought and screen time. What's gonna happen to Archie's mental headspace after this? We can only hope Riverdale answers these questions. On top of this, we have a real ew moment. Kevin Keller's just circling the drain as a character. How? Well, for starters, he allies himself with Percival, and hooks up with him too. It's like all these terrible decisions are being made on purpose. Our heart goes out to Moose, who's been yearning for Kevin for so long. Percival's really building up his supervillain agenda here, causing rifts between the main group of friends. Check. Demolishing public libraries and conquering this town. Check. Torturing the protagonist endlessly. Check. What's in store? Well, we'll just have to wait for the next episode. For now though, we know to take our libraries seriously. And now in other news, the Archies versus Riverdale. Gully Boy is a staple of foreign cinema for Hollywood. You have Zoya Akhtar to thank for that. Yes, the Indian Indian filmmakers back with a new Netflix production. This time, it's focused on teens, plus it's set in the 60s. Hello, period drama. It's called The Archies, and fans have drawn parallels immediately. It's adapted from the Archie comics for one. Your friendly neighborhood Riverdale does that too. Many fans of the Archie comics have high hopes. Zoya Akhtar's Auditor films never disappoint, and they hope Netflix won't mess it up. Archie fans are looking for a production that stays true to the lighthearted, nostalgic nature of the comics. Well, the trailers got that aesthetic for sure. Twitter's been blowing up with this recently. Folks are hyped. The trailers are all fun and breezy with the teens hanging around, playfully pushing the camera aside. A Twitter user said that Zoya Akhtar seems to have captured the vibes and essence of Archie comics much better than that Riverdale show. Since Riverdale is really dark and broody, the new Zoya Akhtar film might just please fans who are looking for something different. That's okay. It can't be everybody's cup of tea. Speaking of which, The Archies has got an all-Indian cast. The CW's cancellations of 2022 so far. For a CW show, Riverdale's been safe from the killing spree they've had. We gotta tell you, this is historic. The CW has never canceled this many shows in a day. Mood swing? Not quite. It's been one of the rare networks that renews every one of the shows from year to year, and an impressive lineup they have, you can't deny. Arrow, Jane the Virgin, Supernatural, you name it. Sadly, they canceled 7 TV shows as of 12th of May, and 2 more later. Fans of the Arrowverse and Supernatural are safe though, because they got finales they're happy with. But man, tough luck for these other shows. Sorry to break it to you if you're a fan of Dynasty, this must sting. Dynasty's super popular. It was canceled after season 5 because the contract between Netflix and CW ended. Not to mention how Warner Brothers and CBS have put more effort into HBO Max and Paramount Studios, so they've been kinda neglectful. Of course, sales went a bit down. And on top of this, Charmed was canceled too. We won't be seeing more of the beloved 4 witches of Charmed anymore. You probably guessed it. The Netflix CW deal is at an end, so the show must go. Plus, there's talk of CW potentially being up for sale. Make of that what you will. We can only see how this goes from here on out. Well, that's it for this video. What do you think of the latest Riverdale episode? Did it scare you into returning your library books? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe too. See you in the next video!